Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of The Corner Store. I'm your host, John Cadet, and I'm glad that you guys are taking time out your day to hear me talk about whatever. On today's episode, actually, we're gonna talk about Dak Prescott. I gotta bring in the Cowboys here and there. We're gonna talk about I don't know. Let me see something. I think because it's mono. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of The Corner Store. I'm your host, John Cadet, and I'm glad that you guys are taking time out your day to hear me talk about whatever. On today's episode, actually, we're gonna talk about Dak Prescott. I gotta bring the Cowboys here and there. We're gonna talk about I don't know. I like the sound of that. I'm gonna put it back to stereo. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of The Corner Store. It's your boy Joe Cadet. Fantastic episode we're gonna have today. We're gonna talk about the Cowboys. We're gonna talk about the NFL schedule that I did promise you guys last episode, but I didn't get to it. And then top 100 came out. Top 100 NFL players came out. A list came out, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on that. But let's get right to it. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. This week, it was reported that Dak Prescott declined the richest quarterback contract in NFL history. The Cowboys were set to give him, I believe it was about 6 years, $35 million, which is the richest quarterback which would have been the richest contract in quarterback history. Dak now wants 45. A couple months ago during the season, probably before the season, when contract negotiations were revving up, he wanted 35. 35, 40 he wanted. Now he wants 45 million. Cowboys, man, this is all your fault, man. Jerry Jones, it's your fault. I keep going back to the question. Does Jerry Jones believe Dak is his guy? Because back in 2013, Tony Romo had about 2 years left. He extended him, made him the richest quarterback in the NFL at that moment. I think he did it first. He had it first, and then Joe Flacco had his contract, made him the richest one. But regardless, he was the richest one when he signed his contract. How come you're not giving Dak the offer he wants? You're not meeting him at least. I think Dak would take 42 or 40 million. I think Dak would get 40 or 42 million. Reach that level ground, that level ground. But Cowboys, man, you guys are messing yourself up. Jerry Jones, Dak has showed you that he's a winner. He's 40-24 as a starter. He's won 2 division titles. Last season alone, 65% completion percentage, over 4,000 yards, second in NFL in touchdowns. Passing touchdowns, that'll be with 30. What else does the man need to do to show that he's worthy of the money? Do I think $45 million is outrageous? Yes, I do. I do think $45 million is outrageous. However, as time is going along, the price is just gonna go up. So, and the hardest thing to do in the NFL, in football period, is to get a quarterback. Hardest thing to do in the NFL is to get a quarterback. I think Dak is trying to make sure that there's no doubt left. There's no doubt left where in terms of Dak is forcing the Cowboys' hand. Like, basically, he's trying to say, hey, you guys have no other option. You guys did they sign Andy Dalton? Maybe the Andy Dalton was more so like, hey, Dak, if you don't sign and you want to leave us, that's all right, because we have someone who's made to the playoffs multiple times, has won over 70 games in Andy Dalton. We don't really need you like that, you know? That's why I'm starting to think a little bit. However, I do not think that the Cowboys think that Andy Dalton is the long-term answer. Whereas Dak, he could be a quarterback for another, as long as he stay healthy, he could be a quarterback for another 10, 12 years with the organization. Dak, man, I really don't know what him and his team is trying to do, but I guess it's working because right now the Cowboys are just like flabbergasted. They're flabbergasted. That's the only word that suffices in this conversation. Now other options. Well, I already talked about Andy Dalton. You have Andy Dalton. He's the backup. So for next season, if Dak Prescott does not play next season, you have the backup Andy Dalton. But do you believe Andy Dalton is the quarterback for the future? I could honestly say that nobody in the Cowboys organization sees him as the future in Dallas. Nobody sees him as the future in Dallas. I know Mike McCarthy doesn't think so. Nobody in Dallas sees him as the future. So then, what happens there? You guys are probably the best team in the NFC East, talent-wise. You guys are. Do you guys tank? There's no such thing as tanking in the NFL. Do you guys? You guys are gonna try and get either Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, and be like, "Hey, Dak, we don't need you. We have a cheaper quarterback at that." It's a lot of things that the Cowboys need to think about before like trying to reach Dak's money price. And to be fair, like I said, would I sign Dak to a $45 million contract? No, I wouldn't. However, what other option do you have, Cowboys fans? What other option do you have? I think I might change topics for a little bit. I think the Cowboys think that they could get another quarterback who could be as valuable as, let's say, Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota, someone who could come and win games for you. However, there's a few Dak Prescott, because we know that Dak Prescott is a winner. Now, this brings me to my next point. We used to see, I was watching a few highlights. You know, I miss football. I miss sports so much. But I was watching a few highlights. I was watching the Buccaneers when John Gruden was the coach. It was off their last their Super Bowl season. They played against the Carolina Panthers. And when I tell you that it's amazing that the Buccaneers won Super Bowl the year before, because Brad Johnson is not a good quarterback. He's never been a good quarterback. He was a quarterback for the Redskins, for the Vikings, and then for the Bucs. He was never a good quarterback. Jake Delhomme had for the Panthers. Jake Delhomme had good years, but he wasn't a great quarterback. Now with the shift, with the rule changes, quarterbacks are being taken out real young now. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, no NFL team will have a bad quarterback. Right now, if you really look at it, the only team that has a bad quarterback in the NFL are probably the Chicago Bears, because Mitch Trubisky he's not that good. He's not that good. And then Tyrod Taylor, the jury's still out on him, but he's old. He's old. But the Chargers picked up Justin Herbert. So I want to say this based on scouting, if your scout team is good, you will not have a bad quarterback. However, if your scout team is bad, a la the Bears, you guys may have another couple. You guys probably won't find another quarterback. But I believe the way the talent is going, the direction that the quarterback is going, quarterbacks are being trained as NFL professionals at the age of 12. So I think there'll be a surplus of good quarterbacks. It's going to be hard to put quarterbacks in the top 5. No longer would you say the top 5 quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. You'll not be able to say that. You'll probably say, hey, Patrick Mahomes number 1, Russell's number 2. Number 3 could go Lamar Jackson. Number 4 could be Aaron Rodgers. You're gonna have to think now. You can't like I just said. The top 5. It's easy to say who the top 5 quarterbacks are. The bottom 5, and then the rest. That's a little bad because those quarterbacks have good years and then really bad years. But I don't think that's ever gonna happen again in the NFL. Especially, like I said, the rule change. Injuries are going to be way lower for quarterbacks unless freak accidents happen. Like in the example of Deshaun Watson, he's practicing and then he blows out his ACL. Or that same example with Teddy Bridgewater, practices, blows out his ACL. Freak accidents will happen. It's football, of course. But like I said, I don't think that we will ever see. Well, in the upcoming years, we won't have a team without a quarterback. That's what I believe. Now, 2 weeks ago, actually, I had my games, I guess NFL schedule preview. I had games that should be on primetime. I had game for each primetime slot: Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. The schedule came out about 2 weeks ago. I was wrong. I think maybe I had 2 games right. I had the Eagles and the Giants. They're going to play on a Thursday. And I think that's it, to be honest with you. I think that's it. There's 5 teams, not 5 teams. There's about 6 teams with the maximum primetime games you could have is 5. And you have the Bucks, the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Niners, the Saints, and I believe the Seahawks. 8 teams with 5 primetime game slots. I believe all 8 teams deserve those slots. The Bucks have Tom Brady. That's the story of the NFL at the moment. And going into the season, that will be the story of the NFL, whether they win or lose. You have the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, the show that he put on last year. No network does not want him on their TV. Like him on the television equals ratings, automatic ratings. The same thing with the Cowboys are the same way. The Cowboys will always have that 5 primetime slot. The Chiefs, the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. You have the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. Colin Cowherd said this a while back, and I thought about it, and I was like, maybe he's right, but I don't see it. But Colin Cowherd was right. Patrick Mahomes is the NFL version of Steph Curry. Patrick Mahomes is the NFL version of Steph Curry. That man, whenever he's on the field, does something spectacular. When I say spectacular, I'm not even talking about the throwing behind, no-look passes, throwing a 60-yard bomb. Just the way and now, like, especially during the playoff run last year, he's now, instead of using his talent, he's using this right here, his head. the way he's commanding the offense, that's the scariest thing going into this season. How Patrick Mahomes is going to use his head more so than his athleticism. And he said it on the shop. He said his first year, he was just basically playing backyard football. He wasn't understanding coverages and how defense disguised their coverage, and what I guess people or what identifications, stances help him find out whether it's going to be a cover 2 or cover 3 or man against zone, things like that, you know. So you have to have the Chiefs on primetime. The Patriots are on primetime, which I'm surprised about. The Patriots is post Tom Brady. I guess it's storyline telling. It's the first season without Tom Brady. Let's see if Bill Belichick can lead this team to a playoff berth. You know, a lot of people don't think the Patriots will be making the playoffs. A lot of people actually think that the Patriots will be about one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. So you have that scenario. One of the games that will be played, I believe on Sunday Night Football, would be the Patriots going up against the Rams, the Super Bowl 53 rematch. 49ers, the 49ers are a great team. I love watching the 49ers play. They're smash mouth. They remind you of how Madden 2004 is supposed to be played. Was played. So the NFL back in 2004 was played. The Saints are always good TV to watch, I'll say. The Seahawks as well. Russell Wilson is, I'm going to talk about this a little later. He's one of the most underrated players in the NFL. You had an MVP season last season. Well, second to Lamar Jackson. With what Lamar Jackson did, it was second to Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson did not have a single MVP vote. I don't know. What I'm shocked about, however, is the Buffalo Bills will have 4 primetime games this season. The Buffalo Bills will have 4 primetime games. I believe they had about 2 or 3 this past season. They had a Sunday night game, and the Sunday night game actually got flexed in. I might as well add, and then I think they had a Monday night game as well. I'm proud for the Bills. Bills Mafia, stand up. I'm proud for you guys. You guys finally get to see a team on Sunday Night Football or Monday night and stuff. You guys usually have the Monday night games, especially with the Patriots, but it's different now. You guys are expected to win. You guys have a great team, great defense. Offense looks like it's going to be more explosive. I believe that you guys will not be run dominant. You guys are going to be a mixture of both. I guess you guys would still lean towards the run because Josh Allen, one of his biggest assets is he could run the ball. He has the same amount of he has the same amount of rushing touchdowns as Saquon Barkley, and he's played about 7 games less than Saquon Barkley, which is, when I seen that stat, that was amazing. So you have the Bills. Now the team, and you guys already know where I'm going with this, the team that I'm going to focus on their schedule is my team. Who I believe is America's team, the New York Giants. So let's get right into it. The New York Giants 2020 NFL schedule. My first thoughts on the 2020 NFL schedule. I'm shocked we're not playing the Cowboys first game of the season. Like, when I tell you guys I was shocked, we don't see the Cowboys until week 5, or we don't see any division opponent up until week 5 for that matter. I was taken back. I was like, wow. The last 4 or 5 seasons, the Giants and the Cowboys played week 1 or latest week 2. Last 5 seasons. And I was shocked about that. We have our first 4 games of the season, non-division. We have on Monday Night Football, the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's the return of Ben Roethlisberger going up against the Giants. Week 2, we're going to Chicago playing the Bears. Don't know who will be the starting quarterback at the time. Could be Nick Foles. Could be Mitch. Maybe the Bears make sense and pick up Cam Newton. Maybe. I don't think so, but you never know with the NFL. Week 3, we play the reigning NFC champions, the 49ers, but they're coming here to East Rutherford, which is, I guess, an advantage for us because, the West Coast travel to the East Coast. Recently, the record is pretty good when West Coast teams travel to the East Coast. It's been pretty good, but historically it's been bad. And then we go to the new stadium, week 4, Los Angeles, the Rams, and we play the Rams, of course. So the Giants always have the past couple seasons hasn't been that, but we've been such a bad team that we can't capitalize on the great schedule that we've had. But back, as usual, we have a rough patch. What I see the rough patch as, usually we have the rough patch from like week 8 down to like week 14, and that's where injuries and we just can't finish games and stuff like that. A lot of stuff, Shout out Eli Manning. Eli Manning finally has a Twitter. I'm so happy he has a Twitter now. I have Eli, my boy Mello, and Undertaker. I guess 3 of my role models when I'm growing up. They're finally on social media. They're all 3 on social media, and I'm so proud and happy about that. Yes. But I think Eli Manning, because Eli Manning during those stretches was still the constant professional. He was my guy. He was the best. He always gave the Giants the best chance. Like, this is the first season. I really don't know what the Giants are going to do. Like, I don't know what are the Giants going to do. This is the first season without Eli. Eli was that guy where as long as I got him on my side, I know we could win the game. I've never gone into a game, an Eli Manning game, I should say, where I thought the Giants were going to lose. Never in my life. No, except once. It was the Chiefs. I was on the Chiefs bandwagon one year. I believe it was 2011, and I had the Chiefs being the Giants one year. But that's it. That's the only game. But other than that, I never had doubt that the Giants would lose a game. I remember one year I'm playing. The Giants were playing the Seahawks. This is the Legion of Boom Seahawks that ended up winning Super Bowl 47 or 48. I saw Eli Manning coming out the tunnel. I was like, well, why the heck am I scared for? We're going to win this game. I mean, we ended up losing the game. Eli threw about 5 interceptions. But anyways, that doesn't matter. This is the first year where I don't know where the Giants are going to go. I don't know the Giants are going to be a playoff team. I don't know the Giants will be sitting at home. As a fan, as a super fan, as I believe I'm the number 1 fan, I have us going to the Super Bowl. I have us going to Tampa Bay this season. But that's as a fan. But as a realist, as a analyst, as a journalist, as a spectator, I really don't know. But here's the stretch that I think the Giants will have struggle with. But if the Giants make it out this stretch, we have a chance. It's from week 3 to week 10. Week 3 to week 10. So week 3 is in September, and week 10 is early November. So we have the middle of September, all of October, the beginning of November. That's rough already, just by that alone. Why do I think that's the rough stretch? We're playing 5 division games. We see the Eagles twice, we see the Redskins twice, we have the Cowboys. We played 3 teams that last year was over 500. We have the Eagles, the 49ers, the Rams. Those are 3 teams. We play the Bucks, man. We play Tom Brady in them. Monday Night Football, week 8. Now, if we get past that, we still have a hellacious schedule. We still have the Ravens week 16. We play the Browns. We still have a hellacious. We have the Seahawks in Seattle. We still have a hellacious schedule, but I believe from week 3 to week 10, that's about 7 weeks, because we have a bye in between there, week 8. If we at least just lose 2 games, we have a chance. We have a chance as a team. But week 3 to week 10 determines the Giants season. If we just go under 500, we're gonna be picking top 5 again in the NFL draft next season. So if the Giants get through it, I think the Giants have a legitimate shot of going to the playoffs. Sorry, I'm thinking as the fan right now. I'm thinking we're going to win the Super Bowl. But like I said, if we have a legitimate shot, we could go to the Super Bowl, make it to the playoffs. We could make it to the playoffs. We got to make the playoffs first before we can talk about Super Bowl. I'm praying for the Giants. Like I said, it's a hellacious schedule, but I think we got it. I believe in Joe Judge. Big Game Jones. That should be his nickname, not Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes is a little catchier, but Big Game Jones is, you stick your chest out with Big Game Jones. You got Saquon. That defense. I don't know about that defense, especially after what happened last week. Which brings me to this. So last week, there was about 3 arrests, NFL-wise. You had a robbery case between Quentin Dunbar and DeAndre Baker. They were the ones that were actually doing the robbing, allegedly. You had Ed Oliver, someone I'm high on, was caught for a DWI, driving while being intoxicated. And I mean, yes, they're out of jail and they've been bailed out. But guys, you guys are making millions of dollars. You guys are literally pillars of your organization. You guys, like, for example, like not a lot of people know about Quentin Dunbar, but Quentin Dunbar is the best corner on the Redskins at the moment since they released Josh Norman. You guys are making millions of dollars, and let's talk real right now. Let's talk real. At the end of the day, however much money you guys make, you guys are still black men in America. And black men in America, black people in America are not looked at in the same light as, oh man, like he doesn't deserve that or whatever. Like there's still a good portion of the American population who see us as a joke, as court jesters, people who are just there for our entertainment. The reason why that we're doing things like that is because, oh, look at that. I'm not gonna say the word, but look at that guy running the ball, man. We're just there for their entertainment. We're not there, and we're not looked at as their peers. We're not looked at as their peers. They still look at us as they're superior to us. Now with that being said, whenever they're always looking for a justification to why you guys shouldn't have this and that. And here's one of them. At Oliver, you're driving while drunk, man. You can't be doing that, because now you're gonna, like, people are gonna look at you like, what were you doing? When if I was to put out a survey, I believe 80% of Americans, white and black, doesn't matter, Hispanic either, 80% of Americans have driven drunk before in their life. However, Ed Oliver, because you're a African American male, they see that you drove drunk. People are gonna be like, "What is this man? Like, he has no regard for life. He is awful. He's an awful human being." Off that one situation, that could have been a mistake. It could have been a mistake. You probably never done that before. You need to get home, We don't know the whole story yet, but you had a mistake. And people are just looking at you like you're one of the scums of the world. That's what they do. And now something more serious, even though DWI, driving while being intoxicated, is not, it is a serious matter. Nobody should be doing that. That's why we have Ubers, we have Lyfts, taxis, all those things, carpool services. You could have your friend. That's why we have cell phones. There's so many ways to avoid driving drunk, but we tend to do it anyway. It still sucks. And you're a black man in America, so they put you to an unachievable height where the people who put you on those unachievable heights don't even take those advice. But now, going from that to being charged with armed robbery, DeAndre Baker, come on, man. And this one really hurts me because he's a giant, man. He's representing the shield. He's representing the NY on the helmet. And for him to do that is like, it's insane. It's asinine. You don't need to do. Who are you robbing? You're making millions of dollars. You too, Quentin Dunbar. Who are you robbing? You're making millions of dollars. The lawyer came out. The lawyers put out the public statement saying that the allegations are false. So we're gonna let the courts decide. The Giants are fully behind Baker. I don't know the story in Washington, but the Giants are fully behind Baker. They say, don't worry about off-season workouts. Don't worry about nothing. Take care of your business first. And for the Giants to say that to a second-year player, I got to commend them for that. But this is serious stuff, and this is one of the biggest problems I have with us is that we tend, especially when we get some money, we tend to think that we're on the same level as our counterparts, when that's not the case. You always have to have that in your mind. Not all, like, I need to stress this a lot. Not all think like that, but a lot of the other side thinks of us as dogs, man. Not worse than dogs. They have dogs higher than us. They think of us as dirt, and they're looking for any opportunity to bring us down. And it sucks, but it's America. And the biggest thing about this is guys, like young kids, who however old or young you are, listening to this, watching this, whatever, don't think that it's everybody. Every white person thinks like that. It's a few select, but it's a good bunch where, and those bunch could make a difference in society. Like either they have this, or it's most likely because they have this, right? That, yes, whenever you walk outside, you're walking on eggshells. You got to make sure that you don't trip. You don't. In the words of YG, you don't get caught with your shoes untied. Don't get caught tripping, alright? But don't let that stop you from living your life, alright? I know me, I'm not really a race I'm not into the race thing. I still believe in the human quality. However, I do have that in my mind. Like, I'm not oblivious to it. I am cognizant of it. And you just have to understand it's just like being young. Whenever you're young, you talk to your parents differently than you talk to your kid, your friends. The same way. Just walk a simple line that everybody does. Both sides walk a simple line. The other side, they can swerve a little bit more than we can. But to go back to these three guys, you guys are figures. You guys are public figures in the eyes of Americans, and a lot of Americans don't want to see you guys, don't want to see us succeed. But by you guys doing these things, and then nobody could ever tell me that they were forced to do it, because you're never forced to do anything in your life. But by you guys doing these things voluntarily, it puts it puts a black eye on not only you and your character and reputation, but us and our character and our reputation. Because not all of us are bad. Just like not all white people are bad. But the white people who are bad, the white supremacists who are bad, always clump the bad African Americans, black people together and like, oh, you see, all black people are the same. I seen a black person rob this house one day, and I didn't even want to talk about I can't think of his name right now, Ahmad story, because now you see that the reason why they shot him, and then you have these two. They're gonna make the correlation. You see, man. You see what they do. I would have done the same thing if I was getting robbed. And then you see how they got robbed. Like it's America. I'm kind of babbling a little bit, but I hope this makes sense. It's not a good look for you guys, and you guys are not making us look good. And that's what I gotta say. I'm gonna end it at that. And now let's basically end it at that. Let's talk about something, more fun and entertaining. Let's talk about CBS Sports. All right? Guy, first of all, CBS Sports, I don't know if you're ever going to watch this, but you guys still haven't got back to me. I can't hear the word, but I applied for a job. Yes, I applied for a job for you guys, and you guys haven't got back to me. You guys haven't said if I got the job, or you guys looking for more candidates, So this is not personal. But I forget. I did not get the guy's name who did this article, but he made a top 100 NFL players right now list. So the top 100 NFL players of today. In the words of Chris Jericho, I want to say this list sucks ass. This list sucks ass. The top 10 is okay. So the top 10 players at this present moment, are at 10, Aaron Rodgers, 9, Khalil Mack. Actually, the top 10 is not that good because you have 9, Khalil Mack, 8, Chandler Jones, 7, Lamar Jackson, 6, Stephon Gilmore, 5, Christian McCaffrey, 4, Michael Thomas, 3, Russell Wilson, 2, Aaron Donald, number 1, Patrick Mahomes. So I'm gonna break down. I have 3 lists that I have problems with. Well, I have a problem with the whole list too, but I wasn't trying to spend too much time on that whole list. Let's first talk about the top 10, man. Khalil Mack is better than Chandler Jones. I mean, sorry. Is Chandler Jones better than Khalil Mack? I give you this. I'm happy that Chandler Jones is getting the recognition in this list. I don't think he's a top 10 player in the NFL. Top 15, yes. Yes, you can make a case for top 15. But top 10? No, he's not a top 10 player. Not a top 10 player. But he's not better than Khalil Mack. His impact, Chandler Jones has been top 2, top 3 in sacks since he's came to the NFL. That's why he's on the all-decade team. Yes, all that stuff is true. But do you know who he's behind? He's an outside linebacker, but do you know who he's behind? Von Miller, Khalil Mack. Von Miller, Khalil Mack. He's behind Von Miller, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack had a great season last season. If you watch the Bears games, this man's getting quadruple teamed every time because number one, Akeem Hicks was not there, so it was possible to double team him, to quadruple team him. Number two, Randy Gregory, he's good some days, other days he's not good. So Khalil Mack having that like sort of game plan against, you had to game plan against him like for that. It's amazing. It's amazing. But you have Chandler Jones over Khalil Mack. That's the first problem I have. Number 2 in the top 10 I have. If this is based off last season, right? Projecting this season. And I want to say this. CBS Sports is not really a fan of Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson should be higher. Lamar Jackson is more valuable to the Ravens than Stephon Gilmore is to the Patriots. Lamar Jackson is more valuable to the Ravens than Stephon Gilmore is more valuable to the Patriots. I believe Stephon Gilmore is the best corner in the NFL going into this season. That list always changes, whoever the best quarterback is, and I love it. But Lamar Jackson is a top. Going into next season, yeah, I'll say it. Lamar Jackson is a top 3 quarterback going into next season. Going into next season. Now saying that, I have to double back on this list. I have to go back down to number 10, Aaron Rodgers. I told you guys a couple weeks ago that Aaron Rodgers is not the same quarterback anymore. I remember watching them against the Seahawks, and literally I was trying to stop myself in saying that Russell wasn't the best quarterback in the NFL because I've always said that it's Aaron Rodgers. However, if Aaron Rodgers 10, and Tom Brady is ranked number 19, and Tom Brady, he's still the guy, man. He's still the man. His pocket presence, everything about him, and the offense that he propelled to 12 wins last season. He's the man. He's that guy. So I'll have Tom Brady number 10 and Aaron Rodgers number 11. I'll have Drew Brees 12 actually, and then I'll redo the whole list. I ain't gonna lie. I told you guys this list sucks ass, and it's bad. So I said that. So I'll put Tom Brady in the top 10. I'll have Lamar Jackson over Stephon Gilmore. So it'll be Lamar Jackson at 6, Gilmore at 7, and I'll definitely have Khalil Mack over Chandler Jones. That's the top 10 right there, right? Now the first list I looked at, the top quarterback on the list. At number 86 came Kirk Cousins. At number 86 came Kirk Cousins. Number 70 was Matt Ryan. Number 62 was Deshaun Watson. This is where the first problem is. 62 is Deshaun Watson. 46 Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is better than Deshaun Watson. The team that Deshaun Watson has had, if Deshaun Watson is on the Cowboys are a legitimate Super Bowl team. The Cowboys go to Super Bowl. Dak, I love Dak. As you guys saw earlier in this episode, I was lobbying for Dak to get his money. Like I said, I believe $45 million is outrageous. But still, Dak is not better than Deshaun Watson. Like the eyes tell you. Stats might skew to Dak's side, but look at the injuries. Deshaun Watson was a leading candidate for MVP before his injury in his rookie season. That's all I gotta say. After coming off a national championship win over the Goliath of a team in Alabama. That's it. You have Drew Brees over Tom Brady. In any list, any year, I'll never have Drew Brees over Tom Brady. That's another problem. But after that, and then like I said, I have Tom Brady number 10 instead of Aaron Rodgers. I bring Aaron Rodgers to 11. I have Drew Brees. I'm not gonna disrespect Drew Brees that bad today. I have Drew Brees right below Aaron Rodgers at 12, and then have Aaron Rodgers at 11. The top 3, I think Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the NFL, but I understand why people have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a freak, like I said earlier. Mahomes is Steph Curry of the NFL. Steph Curry of the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. Now here's another. Well, this is the last one, the last list that I had a problem with. So the top 10 receivers in the NFL. Number 10, you have Keenan Allen. Number 9, you have Odell Beckham. Number 8, you have AJ Green. That's already a problem. AJ Green should be at least 10. AJ Green is injury prone. AJ Green didn't play last season, so this is from last season going into this season. Why do you have AJ Green at 8? And you don't even have Antonio Brown on the list. You have AJ Green ahead of Odell Beckham, Keenan Allen, but you don't have Antonio Brown on the list. Number 7, you have Devontae Adams. Number 6, you have Mike Evans. Number 5, you have Tyreek Hill. And if you guys watched my episode a couple weeks ago, I talked about my top 5 receivers. I had Odell number 5, but it was like I had to make a 5th pick. But I had the top 4 players. The top 4 receivers were in no particular order because I don't have it down here. I had Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins. So I got fair to CBS Sports. I can understand Antonio Brown did not play this season. We still don't know what's going on with his battles with the whole raping allegation. We don't know that. So maybe because of those reasons you can't put him on the list. But what in your right mind? And I remember, hey, shout out Brian. I remember one year I told Brian, this was back like 2012. I told Brian Josh Gordon's the top 5 receiver in the NFL, right? And Brian looked at me and started laughing. He was like, what? After one season, he's top 5 receiver in the NFL? And I was like, yeah, man. So after one season, you have Chris Godwin, number 3, CBS Sports. Chris Godwin, number 3. Chris Godwin's the 3rd best receiver in the NFL. He's better than DeAndre Hopkins. I take off my glasses for this one right here. But there's no way, no stat, no nothing, no eye test that tells you that Chris Godwin is better than DeAndre Hopkins. CBS Sports, tell me what makes Chris Godwin better than DeAndre Hopkins. I want to know. I want to understand. I want to understand. There is no valid... I don't know how that happened. I really don't know how that happened. How did that happen? So you know what? I'm not even going to talk about this list anymore because this list has me agitated. So I'm going to talk about. I'm going to transition to the last topic of this episode. I talked about it earlier with Russell Wilson and Chandler Jones, but I had my list of the top 5 underrated players in the NFL. No, Chris Godwin is not on in CBS Sports. So my top 5 underrated players in the NFL. At number 5, I had Keenan Allen because Keenan Allen's always consistent when healthy. The only problem with Keenan Allen is that he's not healthy a lot. But when healthy, you could make the case he's top 5 in the NFL. Number 4, I had Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell was he was an anchor for the Jaguars during the 2-year stretch. He was an anchor for the Cardinals before that. Now he's on the Ravens. That's gonna be a little sick. I don't understand why, but hey, Michael Pierce and him, shit. Number 3, I believe he is now the best left tackle in the NFL at this moment. You have David Bakhtiari from the Green Bay Packers. That man, his footwork is great. Everything about him is nice. Bakhtiari. The only problem with him, and this was more early on in his career, he was injury prone, but I believe he played all 16 games last season and the season before. Or around 13, 14 games. And number 2 and 1, I talked about them before. I had Chandler Jones number 2. all-decade team, but still doesn't get recognition. I think he had 19 and a half sacks 2 seasons in a row. 19 and a half sacks 2 seasons in a row. But nobody is ever going to talk about him. Maybe because he's down in Arizona, making his money. I don't know. I don't get it. And then number one, of course, is Russell Wilson. You had an MVP caliber season in 2017. I had an MVP caliber season in 2018. I had an MVP caliber season last season. Yet, you have never had a vote for MVP. So, the writers, I believe the writers are the ones who make the votes. What does Russell Wilson have to do now? He has to go undefeated? You see the team that he has. A first-year receiver in DK Metcalf. Undersized receiver in Tyler Lockett. Last time I checked, the Legion of Boom is gone. No more Earl Thomas, no more Cam Chancellor, no more Brandon Browner, no more Richard Sherman. Marshawn Lynch just came back last season with like 4 games left. Before that, you had Chris Carson, unknowns like Chris Carson, Michael Turbin, Rashard Penny. What else does Russell Wilson have to do, guys? What else does Russell Wilson have to do? He's literally, arguably, the best quarterback in the NFL. What else does he have to do? Please tell me. Hey, guys, that's the end of the episode. I hope everybody's staying safe. Everybody is living life to the fullest. Just remember to like, share, subscribe. Guys, if you watch this on YouTube, you already know I'm still a little heated about the Chris Godwin thing. Hey, tell me, do you think that Chris Godwin is a top 3 quarterback? Do you guys think Chris Godwin is a top... I said quarterback. Do you guys think that Chris Godwin is a top 3 receiver in the NFL? Comment below. Don't forget to like, share. Like and share. Subscribe. Hit that bell notification on the right side next to the subscribe button. And, guys, I'm just trying to start the conversation. This is Gerald Cadet. This is the Corner Store. And like always, we'll be back with another episode. We out.